Hey YouTube, it is Adventure Week starting tomorrow, and with Adventure Week, they want you to go and explore, and because of that, they usually give you Pokemon that are actually worth going to hunt, and this week is no exception here. There's a lot of actually quite good GBL Pokemon, again, whether you're going for GBL Pokemon or Shinies or Pokemon you don't have, whatever the reason you are getting out there. For us, it is GBL, and there are definitely some GBL Pokemon here, including a brand new Pokemon. So Adventure Week, Tuesday the 29th, already the 29th of July, holy smokes, to Sunday, August 3rd. Again, these sort of 5-day events, which has kind of been the normal for the last at least few months now. The Wugtrio Pokemon Toadstool and its evolution Toedscruel will make its debut. And I asked in this morning video, is this the doppelganger of Tentacruel? And I'm filming this before I get the answer, but I looked at the stats and they have the exact same stats. Tentacruel and this Toedscruel Pokemon have the exact same stats, so I assume it's just a doppelganger from another region. 2 times XP for catching Pokemon. Incense, excluding the daily incense, will last for 2 hours, so lots of time to catch Pokemon. Okay, so the following Pokemon will appear more frequently in different areas. Also, it's the first time you may get a shiny Wiglet. So broken down by where you are: Snubbull, Trubbish, Elgum, Sizzlipede in cities and maybe an Esper. Forest and grasslands: Squilvet, Fidos, Smoliv, Tadbulb, and if you're lucky, Toedscruel. So if we're really only going to get this Pokemon in the forest and grasslands, maybe. I don't know how often you're actually going to see this Pokemon. Mountains: Hippopotas, Drillbur, Rufflet, and maybe Gligar. And then beaches or water: Inkay, Toxapex baby version, which I always mispronounce, Dewpider, Sandygast, and Wiglet. So event-themed research, time research. Time research maybe is probably where you're going to get it if you're going to find it at all. Give us money. No. Okay, so let's look at this Pokemon. And like I said, it is the exact same stat product as Tentacruel. So Tentacruel here, 108.9, 143, 151. And as you're going to see here, 108, 143, 108, 143. Yeah, 131. There we go. Exact same. But it is a ground grass, and so the moveset's going to be different, and the typing is going to be different, and that's going to make the matchups different. So it is a, let's start with the, so stats alone, Tentacruel has always been sort of borderline because it's got like some nice stats, lower attack, way higher defense, stamina. So always had borderline play in the Great League and Ultra League. It always just depended on your moveset. So typing is different here. Ground grass, we do not have a lot of these, and unfortunately for this, the ground grass typing is kind of rough in the resistances versus weaknesses. 3 resistances versus 4 weaknesses. And I already kind of mentioned, like, when I'm using a Pokemon, I'm looking at like 1 or 2 weaknesses, maybe 3 max. But like when you get to 4, 5, and 6, I think too many weaknesses in my opinion for it to be super relevant. Depending on, like, again, stats and movesets could just overwhelm that. But double weak to ice, single weak to bug, fire, flying. And that's not the weaknesses you want to see. Not a ton of ice. There's some ice, but bug just got buffed. Steel got buffed, which means fire is a lot more prevalent. And then flying is kind of back again with Gligar and a few other flyers out there right now. Triple resisting electric. So nice to have a triple resistance there. There's a few electric out there. And then single resist ground and rock. And there definitely is some ground and rock. So let's not totally just dismiss that. Okay, these movesets are what's going to make or break this, and unfortunately, I think it breaks it, and I'll explain why. So you have Mud Slap and Mud Shot. So Mud Shot, fast charging, and Mud Slap, the harder hitting. Unfortunately, Mud Shot got nerfed a few seasons ago now, so its energy went from 4.5 to 4, which makes it just that much worse. So Mud Slap is the move, and with it you have Earth Power, Seed Bomb, Wrap, and Acid Spray. So Acid Spray is absolute garbage. The recommended moveset on this Pokemon is Earth Power and Wrap. Earth Power just makes sense. Same type attack bonus, hard hitting damage move. And then your options are a 45 for 60 Wrap or 45 for 78 C-Bomb. And it is recommending Wrap. Well, Wrap has a, okay. So my thoughts is that it's recommending Wrap because the difference in damage is 18, which is quite a lot. But Wrap guarantees to lower your opponent's defense. And because Mud Slap is such a hard-hitting move and you get same type attack bonus on it, and you got some bulk, you probably are going to lift some charge moves. So if you just wrap and Mud Slap combo, that makes it very valuable. So the question is, why do I think it makes it, this is not going to be super worth it? And to that, I'll just say, why would you use this Pokemon when you have Gastrodon? So stats, let me just bring up one more. I got like so many tabs open here. Gastrodon, number 18 ranked Pokemon, 113, 103, 168. So you can argue that the stats are better on this new Pokemon, but kind of the same. Typing, this thing only has one weakness. One weakness to grass, double weak to it, but only one weakness to grass. Grass is kind of almost irrelevant this season because poison got buffed, steel got buffed, bug got buffed, fire by proxy got buffed, and sun actually got buffed. So grass just kind of took a beating this season. So there's actually not a lot of grass. So you only have one real weakness here, and you resist 5, fire, poison, rock, steel, electric. You then move up to your moveset. You also get same type attack bonus on Mud Slap. You also have the earth power, and then you just have a quicker body slam, 35 for 50. So now you have same Mud Slap, same earth power, slower to get to wrap. Yes, it does more damage, and yes, it lowers the defense, so it plays different, and yes, you got a little more bulk. But I think just between the typing, having 4 weaknesses, and basically having a similar move set, but just a slower first move, instead of having a body slam at 35, you have wrap at 45. I just think that there's really not a ton of reason to use this over Gastrodon. I would rather just have the one weakness and the quicker body slam spam. That being said, if you look at the rankings, it where's the rankings? Yes, 123. So Tentacruel and this new Pokemon Toedscruel is very much similar in the, can you use them? Absolutely. Will they have some play? Yes. Here is the matchups. You have a 22 and 23 record with a 498 average. So losing to, again, you're going to lose versus some of the meta, but you're going to dominate some of the meta too. So lose to Jumpluff, Moltres, Gligar, Azumarill, Feraligatr, Mandibuzz, Glycopod, Lapras, Talonflame, Dugong, Araquanid, Sandslash, Primeape, Annihilate, right? So there's a lot of losses here that you see a lot of. Scizor. But let's look on the other end. 905 versus Dedenne. So Dedenne, Morpeko. You're not really seeing as many Dunsparce right now. Stunfisk, Quagsire, Gastrodon, Marowak, Swampert, Weezing, Clodsire, Blastoise, Credilli, right? Sableye, Drapion, Wiggly, Dusclops, Ferret. So there is some nice wins too. So it's not one of those like you don't need to go hunt this and you don't need to build it up. It's one of those that you can try. I just think that it's going to be outmatched by a few things that will play similar role. But again, the grass ground is kind of unique. Just if you care about those sort of 4 weaknesses, just make sure that you cover those. So not surprising, some recommended moveset, recommended teammates, anything that's water, right? Because the water will resist the ice, the water will resist the fire, and then stuff that you can also kind of deal with bug and flying sort of in there as well. So that's, I think the main part of this is this new Pokemon, but as you can see, it is right now, from my understanding, only in the forest or grassland, and only a might encounter here, and then you'll maybe get it through some field research. Hopefully there's like some spin tasks that you can get to it as well. So there are some other Pokemon on this list. I just kind of put a bunch of them in here to see. Unfortunately, Scentiscroach is not good at all, so we can just basically dismiss this. Greedent used to be good, but then the Mud Shot nerf kind of made it borderline irrelevant as well, so we can just dismiss that. Doxbun. So I put in at Charm just to show you that there's really only 2 Charmers that you would use. Maybe borderline 3. You can argue a Ninetales as a Charmer, but the 2 main Charmers are Doxbun and Wiggly, and they've been kind of going back and forth as to what is the top ranked Charmer. And as you can see, Doxbun is the #1 ranked Charm Pokemon. So if you want the #1 ranked Charm Pokemon, Fido in the forest or grasslands, I guess we need to go to the forest or grasslands to try and get some Pokemon to use here. But there's other Pokemon in this. Bellibolt. So, in the forest. Forest or grassland. Tadbulb. Okay, let's go live in the forest for the next 5 days. Tadbulb is Bellibolt. And yes, it is ranked 58 in the Great League. Most of you will not see it in the Great League because there is Morpeko in the Great League and there is now Dedenne in the Great League. So there hasn't been a lot of reason to run Bellibolt. But Bellibolt is the #1 ranked Pokemon in Ultra League. And that Sucker Punch has a lot more play in the Ultra League, a lot more Psychic, a lot more Ghost. And you have a decent amount of bulk in the Ultra League. And the Parabolic Charge just buffs that already high defense, and it can kind of get out of control. So yes, get your Tadbulbs for the Great League, but primarily for the Ultra League. A couple more niche Pokemon out here. Hippowdon in the mountains here. 113, or I guess 136 if you're looking at the non-shadow version. Again, it's sort of borderline there. We got some, and then Gligar. Yeah, so Gligar is you may see this Pokemon in the mountains. I'm actually surprised that the non-shadow is ranked higher than the shadow. So, you know, both in the top 10, both very strong. Fury Cutter. Well, again, what makes it so strong is that ground helps offset some the electric weakness. And then on the same point where Aerial Ace is resisted against like rock and steel, you have that dig, which is super effective. So a lot of coverage. Fast charging Fury Cutter definitely makes it a top Pokemon to explore. Malamar. I gotta try this Pokemon again. So Inkay here on the beaches or water is Malamar. 44 in the Great League and a 20 as the Shadow in Ultra League, or a 44 as the non-Shadow. Everyone got scared of using this Pokemon in the Great League for good reason, because Bug got buffed like crazy this season, and you are double weak to Bug because you are Psychic and Dark. Now you only have 2 weaknesses, Bug and Fairy. And like I said, there's not a ton of Fairy. There's a couple with Fairy Wind, but only 2 like Charmers in this meta right now. So it's really, you got to just watch out for Bug. So you could like run this with a, like say like a Ghost and something else that resists the Bug, like a Poison or something. To help offset this weakness, and it will definitely have play. I haven't seen a lot of it this season yet because everyone's so scared of all the Bug out there, but you know what? I definitely think I'm going to try it in this next week of Great League that we have coming up here. So Inkay's Toxapex, like I said, in the beaches or water, #2 here. Toxapex, the ground is so prevalent that it kind of made Toxapex pretty tough to run. I never liked using Toxapex because Brine is an absolutely terrible move for how slow it takes to get to. Sludge Wave is a good move. You're almost always just going that, but that's 20 turns to get to. Has some nice stats, like great stats actually. Low attack, super high defense, and okay, not super high stamina, but 2400 overall. And the Poison Jab does really add up there. But yeah, Electric, Ground, and Psychic, and 8 resistances. So 3 to 8 is not bad, but Electric got buffed this season. Ground's just always been out there. Psychic, some Psywave users, but you got enough bulk to deal with some of those Psywave users. So option out there. Araquanid, another one of those that I think is higher ranked than you see it out there. So Dewpider again in the beaches here. Araquanid ranked 48. I kind of already mentioned this, why I also think that the any Bug Bite user is overranked. So Fortress at #2, and then Araquanid at number 48. And Wormadam down at 124, because these Bug Bite users, Bug is resisted by 7 of the 18 typings, something like that. So Fury Cutter you can get away with, because Fury Cutter is a fast charging move that you're just trying to get to your charge move. So that's why you have Glycopod at 9 and some of these other Fury Cutter users. But Bug Bite is a slower charging. It hits harder, but it's a slower charging move. So if you get into a matchup where it's resisted, it's kind of tough. So between that, it's got like insane bulk. It was such an answer to like a Zoomerl at one point, resisting all its moves. Actually, no, that's not true. You lose to Play Rough. What am I talking about? What was the Pokemon that's this? Swampert with the Earth? Yeah, Swampert. Sorry. It was Swampert where you resisted the ground and the water before it got Sludge. So this was a super hard answer to Swampert, resisting the Earthquake and Hydro Cannon that you used to run on Swampert. But it's not as prevalent again. Electric got buffed, more flying this season. Rocks is sort of whatever. There's some rocks, but not a ton of them. And I don't have anything here for some reason. And then what's this? A repeat of Gastrodon. Okay, yeah, I think that's it. As I was saying, these last two Pokemon are not as relevant. Wiglet. What's Wiglet's evolution? I don't even know. This is what I do. Wiglet evolution, because I do not play the main series games. Wiglet evolves to Wugtrio. So then I go to Poke and say, let me see if this Pokemon's any good. And it's probably, oh no. Absolutely not. 910. Stats. Glass Cannon, 151, 108, 90. So Glass Cannon. Water. Obviously water's great. Grass, non-existent. There is electric, but Mud Slap user, where you do not get same type attack bonus. And then slow charging moves and not even good moves. Surf's not bad for 45 for 90, but then slow to the dig. Yeah, terrible moveset. So not anything you need to worry about there. But yeah, definitely some Pokemon to go hunt. What is considered a forest or grassland? Like, does anyone, if anyone has the definitions of what these are, let me know. Like, obviously, like beaches or water and cities seem to be, I mean, forest or grassland seems to be obvious, but I feel like maybe with how they define some of these things, there's options. Like beaches or water is kind of a funny one too, because in Ottawa here, we have a bunch of rivers, like the Gatineau River and stuff like that. So that combine, and canals and stuff that combine right through the downtown Ottawa. So sometimes you're like in downtown and you'll get like the water beach background because you're like close enough to the water. So it's one of those like weird ones of like, you don't actually need to like become Mowgli and go to the forest to get these things. It could be like you're just like close enough to some dense tree area. I don't know. Let me know if there's like an official definition that I should know about, because this is like the one time that I'm actually looking at these different ecosystems and thinking that I need to actually focus on like one of these. Again, Tadbulb. I already have an Ultra League Bellibolt, but I do not have this new Pokemon. So we'll see if we can get it from field research tasks. But otherwise, let's go hiking. Anyways, that is it. Thanks for watching. We'll do some top teams tomorrow. It is a repeat Great League and then a limited cup. So we'll do both covers. And then I think it's probably mostly going to be Great League this week. Couple events upcoming this weekend, which I will cover as well. So that's it. Thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.